Hi, we're What's Next Nashville, and we're here with the Assessor of Property, Miss Vivian Wilhoite. Vivian, I know that you have been in Nashville for a while, and you have committed your life to service. Would you tell us a little bit about how you got here and how you got into the public service arena?
Oh, well, okay. Well, first of all, thank you, Rob Harris, for having me on What's Next Nashville. Great topic. I love it. Well, how I got started, my uncle, he's actually my cousin, but we've always affectionately called him our uncle, Uncle Homer Wheaton, had visited our home in Gulfport, Mississippi. And he was there for a conference, and he had brought with him his beautiful mother, who loves my mother. His mother is my mother's great aunt. And while he was there, I came in from school, and he did not know me because I was a child. I was a high schooler at that time. And he began to talk to me and ask me about what grade I was in, and I was in the 12th grade at that time, and he said, "Where are you going to college?" I said, "Well, I don't know yet." This was around about September of that year, and he said, "Why don't you come to Tennessee State University?" And I said, "Okay," just like that. And he told me in what city it was located in Nashville, and I said, "Yes, that's the capital of Tennessee." He said, "Yeah." He said, "So what about it?" So after that, the rest was history. You know, I had come to Nashville, just excited about being in a big city, even though Gulfport, Mississippi is not a big city, but it is a tourist town. So there's always something going on in Gulfport. It's constant. It's not considered to be a country town, but a tourist town. We're about 40 minutes to an hour away from New Orleans. So I've been to bigger cities and what have you, but Nashville at that time was extremely exciting, me coming from Gulfport. And I just began to make my way here in Nashville at Tennessee State University. Of course, starting out just in public service as the vice president of the freshman class.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now I know that you're currently the assessor of property, but as far as your civic engagement, you were a Metro City Council person.
Yes.
Would you tell us a couple of the accomplishments that you had as a city council person, and then also if you follow up with a couple of accomplishments from your current position?
Okay, great. Well, I would think that one of my greatest accomplishments as a Metro Council representative for District 29, which is located in Southeast Davidson, located pretty much after you cross over, because sometimes people ask, where's District 29? So just to give people a little kind of proximity where we're located, after you are past Donaldson Pike, going towards the airport, and you cross over Donaldson Pike on Murfreesboro Road, you basically, everything on the left-hand side, traveling towards Murfreesboro, you're in District 29 of Southeast Davidson. And one of the things I found that even in being a council person, you got to have a love for your community and a love for people. And I had a great love for my community. I have a great love for people. So as one of my biggest accomplishments is making myself accessible, being an accessible leader. When you see me in the grocery store, you can tell me about your issue then. I'm not going to tell you call me back on Monday, or call me later. I go ahead and take your issue at that moment. So I think one of my biggest accomplishments, one of my top accomplishment as a council person was just being that accessible leader. The other accomplishment as a council person is having the frequent meetings that I held to help keep the community informed about what was going on. I didn't feel like that people did not know what was going on. Of course, we were not as blessed with the cell phone then as we were now. Of course, the cell phone was around. I'm not that old now, don't get me wrong, but the thing is that we had social media platforms and things like that, and people were just kind of getting connected on. But having those community meetings to let people know what was the status of different policies, what was going on in reference to different issues that were happening in the city and those issues that was affecting Southeast Davis. And that was really, really important. And I saw that as a great accomplishment because people felt like they were invested. They felt like they knew what was happening. And then if I think of another accomplishment in being the council person is the fact that I listened to people. It may have not run along the lines of what I would have wanted the community to do, but getting their information and their input was critical to me. I never thought that the community was a group of people who just don't understand. I felt like, they were smart enough to elect me.
Right.
Of course, they're smart enough to understand. It's about how you explain it to people. So being that type of transparent leader, I felt like it was a breath of fresh air for some people as I was the councilperson for District 29. So I see those as some really great accomplishments. I brought the fire hall to District 29, so that was pretty huge.
That's amazing.
Yes, it didn't get built while I was there, but it was funded and it was began while I was the councilperson, and it was on my list of things that I wanted to accomplish for the district. But outside of that, in reference to something of a capital improvement, just the fact of making yourself available to the community, explaining and having meetings that will help people understand what is going on in the city and listening to the people and just really trying to do what you can to help.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So would you tell me one thing that we don't know about the Assessor of Property's office?
Well, I like to believe that people know this, but they make this mistake. They say this often. I wouldn't say a mistake because the fact in some cities, the assessor of property is the tax assessor. And the assessor of property here in Nashville, Davidson County, as well as every county across Tennessee, is not the tax assessor. We are the assessor of property. We do exactly that. We value a list, we identify, list, value all real, personal, commercial properties all over Davidson County that's taxable properties. And so when people call me the tax assessor, they sometimes do not know that I'm not the tax assessor. I am the assessor of property. Now, what people don't know, who is truly the tax assessor, would be your mayor and or your metro council. And I say and or because the council can also levy tax. So they don't realize that they are the ones, that those are the entities, those are the bodies or the legislative body and bodies that actually provides to the people of property, owner of property, what will you pay as your taxes, basically. So they are the ones that assess the tax. We just tell you the value. Another thing I believe that people are beginning to understand how important the assessor of property position is. I mean, when you think about any city, any town, anywhere in the state of Tennessee or anywhere, one of the most stable income stream for any town or city is the payment of taxes, because it is something that is levied and the person is required to pay it by law. That goes into the budget. And with that being the case, you have to start with a value. Right. And we provide the value. The city of Nashville, as far as the participation of payment of taxes, it accounts for about 59% of the city's budget. The city's budget comes from other things as well that are contributed into it. But that is very important that we get it right, which is why we are constantly being transparent and letting people know what are their options when it comes to the reappraisal, when it comes to the time of the year after they've received their tax bill. It's time they can actually appeal their value, not their taxes. You can appeal your value. And so, I think about those things that relates to what we do. That's so very important that people understand that. And why is it important? Because you want people to go to the right people for what they're looking to get done.
Absolutely.
You don't want you don't want a person calling their council person saying, hey, my taxes are high. Or, well, they may be talking about their value, right. That they believe is not correct. I like to believe at most time it is. It's at many times, if say 99% of the time it is correct. However, there are things that we need to know about the property for us to better understand to arrive at value. But when they call the council person, I want the council person to say, well, you need to call the assessor of property, Vivian Wilhoite. She can assist you with that. Or if they are not aware that truly they are living under the second lowest tax rate in Davidson County history, which is what we have right now. And they may not realize it. So it takes a little time to educate the person, but I don't think it takes that much time because people fairly understand that. And I have a lot of confidence in people listening to hear what you have to say if they're in a part of a conversation that they're wanting to hear the information. So yes, that's something I think that people don't really quite know, but I quickly correct them. So we'll just keep on educating. You can never stop educating because the revolving door is constantly moving, having new property owners into the area of being owners of property, and they're learning things as they're becoming new homeowners or new business owners.
So the Nashville of 2022 is not the Nashville that I was born into or that you came to as a college freshman.
That's correct. We're older now.
Absolutely. But what are the three major things moving forward that Nashville needs, or the most pressing issues?
Oh, wow. So now that sounds like a mayoral question. Being as assessor of property, sometimes I don't look at the city in its full circumference in reference to all of the needs. But being as a former council person, that kind of still is, that type of analogy continues to be within me. So when I think about what's going on in Nashville right now, it seems that with the robust that's happening here in the housing market, in the commercial market, and of course in people buying and selling all day long in reference to trying to get their first home or just trying to buy property, period. It has the activity in the economy, the buying and selling, has really made it very difficult for affordable housing. And so I think that now Nashville is needing to have some type of resolve versus a Band-Aid on making affordable housing affordable, and that there are an adequate number of affordable housing here in our county. We're finding that people are moving to other counties seeking affordable housing, seeking affordable rental spaces because they cannot find it here in Davidson County. We've seen that domino effect to be pretty good for some other issues because you diversifying other issues and you're diversifying other counties, which, that's a wonderful thing when you come to population. But when people are moving further away from their jobs or further away from those things that they feel that is needed for their living and raising a family, that does make it difficult. And having to uproot your family to go to another county. So affordable housing and giving people choices and more options in reference to being able to live affordably here in Davidson County is very, very important. That an issue that we have to have a permanent resolve because of the domino effect from the economy here in Davidson County. I think that we need to look, and it's just really just kind of just totally gotten out of hand. Pretty much it's the homelessness and dealing with the homeless population. And how do we accommodate and helping them with those resources that they need, but also, have them in places of sustainability of homes instead of being outside and in neighborhoods that's just kind of willy-nilly just pop up. And we're finding them being not only just right outside your home in some parcel that vacant or that has been abandoned, but also in our parks, as you have probably seen over in West Nashville and other places. Just saw the news the other night in reference to in a neighborhood where a parcel is just a vacant parcel, is a vacant property owned, but there is no improvement on it. So it becomes a camping ground for the homeless population. So I'm seeing that as an issue that's facing Nashville, that we got to put a permanent resolve on that. Of course, education is always a really big issue, and how we're going to continue not only fund education, but to make sure that our children are successful in the school system, so that we can have a very good workforce for all of the businesses that are coming here. That is very, very important. One of the things that I would like to apply as Nashville globally, but that I apply here in my office, is ensuring that people are being paid competitively. People must be able to live. And I know when I first came here to the office of the assessor of property and was blessed by the voters to be here, I told the staff they may not like what they do, but they won't hate coming to work. And I hope that is the case when I talk and get, a temperature check from time to time from the employees about what is it that you need in order to be more successful in the workplace. With Nashville economy increasing as it is in reference to increase in trying to find affordable housing, in reference to everything else going up as a result of the post-pandemic and results of that, people are trying to live. And when we think about ensuring that people can be competitive in reference to making a life for their family, they should be competitively paid. I'm very happy and pleased that this administration has increased pay to living wages, which is something that has never happened in Nashville, not that I'm aware of. And so it may not be exactly enough, but getting to where we need to help people to have a leg up to be able to live in Nashville is so very important. So being competitively paid is very important in my book, and think that Metro employees and all employees of any job location, any career that you're in, it's very important that people be able to, be able to support their families as well as support themselves. So those are just a couple of things that I see now. Managing growth. That is important, but it's not so much important in neighborhoods. What I like to see more of in neighborhood, what I see that needs to continue, that needs to happen from the time I was a council person, is to invest back in neighborhoods, and invest in neighborhoods not equally, but adequately. It's kind of like, I remember a candidate for president. Can't remember. I think it was Jesse Jackson, and he said that he does not love his children equally. He said he loves them adequately according to their needs. So if you have a community that's more high in crime versus another community, that means that you need to do more for that community in order for it to be safe as one community that is more safe. If you have a community that doesn't have sidewalks, and they're needing sidewalks, but you have these very affluent neighborhoods that have sidewalks, that means this neighborhood needs sidewalks. The neighborhood over the more affluent neighborhood doesn't need sidewalks. So you can, if you have a neighborhood that you want to encourage more sit-down restaurants, or you want to encourage a culture that people feel vested in, and people feel like that they don't have to always go back downtown to have an entertainment or have a place for their family to enjoy. You look to try to bring that community to the level of sustainability, to the level of feeling like, yes, we got something over here too, versus thinking you always have to go over to East Nashville for the pizza, or over here for this famous coffee, that type of thing. So I think that the community is being improved to a level of safe accountability. Families can raise their children, or just be able to live there and feel that it is a community of that the city has invested in, that's so very important. So you don't do it equally, you do it, you don't do it equitably, you do it in accordance to its needs.
Okay.
And every community's needs is not the same.
Okay. Well, I love what you had to say, and I wanted to let you know that as we push forward towards August of 2023,
Wow,
that
right around the corner.
yeah, we've had a lot of people mentioned in the mayoral discussion. Your name is one of those names, and that has nothing to do with you. But I would just hope that you would tell me 3 qualities of a great leader.
Well, first of all, I'm very honored, and I am I'm humbled that my name would be one that people would call out as a leader for the future. And I can't say I have never thought about it, which I have. And I think there's a time and place for everything, and in due time. But I think this right here, as the assessor of property, has been a wonderful experience to prepare for anything. And what I mean by that is that, you have the opportunity to be able to create change, a positive change. And just that alone, since being here, I think as a leader, you want to always want a staff or people that that surrounds you, or have people to surround you that will tell you what you need to know and not what you need to hear. It's not, I don't think that you can tell that I feel like as if I am what is it? I want to say I'm timid or anything like that. But it's very important that people be able to feel respected, and that they can just say some things to you to help you be a better leader. Something you may have not thought about doing, something that you're thinking about doing, but they may say, no, you may not need to do that because of X, Y, and Z. And not feel like as if you are just a know-all, the know-all. And I'm not saying you hire someone to do that for you. I'm saying that you surround your people honestly that will tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear. So being one that is a listener. And of course, you want to have your own vision for the future. You do. But you want to be able to sprinkle that with ideals, and you want to have someone to also help you build that roadmap. That's going to be a successful roadmap for everybody. It's not about the me. It's about the we, okay? And it's about the us that we want to make sure that's successful. So, being a listener is very important as a leader. As I stated before, a person, a group of people around that you surround yourself with that will tell you what you need to know and not what you need to hear, and not what you want to hear. And of course, providing respect, having respect for your community and for the people in your community. I mean, truly, when I say that I love people, I do. And I see a value in every person. What I see as a value, someone else may not see as a value. Sometimes some people may say that you're too trusting. I don't think so. I think that what it is, I'm trying to look for the best in that person and to see how we can make things happen successfully together. When I think of communities, some people will say, I don't know how you can go over there. And I'm not talking about communities that's high in crime. I'm just talking about communities that people may be considered where they look down on people or something like that, wherever those communities may be. But even there, you can find people who could be an asset to the overall goal, so that everybody is successful. So I think that's very important, that you have respect not only for the individual people in the community, you have respect for the community itself. So that goes back to being, I think, helps you to be a leader, and of course having the vision for what you want to see, but that vision must have vested interests, input from those communities. So if you don't respect those communities, then you're surely not going to listen to them. So if you respect those communities, you will listen to them.
Okay. So We know Vivian, the council person. We know Vivian, the assessor of property. But tell us one thing that we don't know about Vivian Wilhoite.
Well, we try to put out press release so you will know everything about Vivian Wilhoite. We don't mind, beating our own drum and tooting our own horn. And the reason I say we, because, and I'm speaking of the office of the assessor of property, my office, with my amazing staff that I've been blessed with since I came here in 2016. I want the community to know, first about what we do here is that I have been blessed with an amazing staff. A lot of people say, okay, you can go kiss the babies and you can cut the ribbon, but I don't do that. I'm here every day. I take part in the work that is done in this office. I make decisions in reference to assessments that are done in this office. I want to understand, how did you arrive at that value when X, Y, and Z also exist? I want people to know that I understand the process of what it is to do an assessment. That's very important. And the good news is that what people don't know is that I came from that arena. When I graduated from Tennessee State University, I was very blessed to be able to get the office, TSU, my Tigers, was able to begin a career with the Tennessee Public Service Commission as an appraiser. And there, we were considered, as people would say, the 96th assessor. Now, what that means, Rob, is that in every county, and we have 95, there's an assessor in every county. And there are properties that those assessors in those 95 counties cannot appraise. By law, the for-profit gas, water, electric, and telephone utilities were appraised and assessed by the Tennessee Public Service Commission. That was railroad property, that's truck companies, that for-profit telephone companies, Bell South, AT&T. It was the two, and they went back together and what have you. So you got Tennessee Telephone. It's a host of telephone companies in Tennessee. You have one electric company up in East Tennessee, Warner Company down in Chattanooga, in Hamilton County. We were the agents that appraised and assessed those properties. And when we did that work, we then disseminate out to the counties where those entities were located or operated for them to put on their tax roll for money for the county. So I was at a state level doing what I'm doing now, which is now at a local level. But that's something that people did not realize. I had come from that arena and had some level of understanding from there. And in that organization, it is now the Tennessee Regulatory Authority. Nope, it's now called the Tennessee Regulatory Public Utilities Commission. They've kind of changed the name kind of slightly. They've added another word in the name, but still doing the same function pretty much. And so that's something that people did not know also about me as an individual, where I come from. But most of all, I want Nashville, Davidson County to know what an amazing staff that I have that helps me and helps to provide to the community of Davidson County an amazing product, and that we don't mind you appealing your value if you choose to do so, because that is the person's right.
It's been great to talk with you today, but I was hoping that you could give us a couple of parting the ideas, visions, or whatever you choose to.
Well, I try to just keep it simple, pretty much as my what I like to leave with people. I try to keep it simple, and I think it sums up everything of who I am. And I have written this in my letterhead because I want people to know that. I have stated when I first got here as the assessor, being blessed by the voters of Davidson County. And I'm reminded of it every day. So it's absolutely the mantra that I live by. And that is to do all the good you can in every way that you can for all of the people that you can while you can. If you live by that, you can always get it right, at least majority of the time.
Well, thank you much for being with us here today. I hope that you enjoyed our conversation with Vivian Wilhoite. Until next time.